Movies are loved by Indians. We have had a rich history of cinema and are one of leading countries in the world in producing them. Today, let's delve into how the movie industry in India started and which was the first Indian movie. The history of Indian films is older than a century. It has seen a wide variety of spectrum in its illustrious duration of 100 plus years. We have experienced some of fine pieces of cinemas from visionaries like Satyajit Ray, V. Shantaram, Shyam Benegal to some of most nonsensical flicks from the 90s and onwards. To sum it up, Bollywood does have its plus points as well as flaws. But when and how did it start? The answer to that is in 1913. The first ever full-length feature film to be made in India was Raja Harishchandra, released on 3rd May 1913. It was produced and directed by Dhundiraj Govind Phalke, who is also known as father of Indian cinema. It was a silent film with no dialogues but had English, Marathi and Hindi language intertitles that occasionally appeared on the screen to give the audience a gist of what was happening on the screen. The idea to make a film of Indian origin struck Phalke in 1911 when he watched the foreign-made film Life of Christ. The movie was a portrayal of the life of Jesus Christ. While watching Jesus on the screen, Phalke envisioned Hindu deities Rama and Krishna instead and decided to start in the business of, as it was called then, moving pictures. For the next 1 year, Phalke started collecting various film related materials like catalogs, books and movie making equipment. He bought a small film camera and reels and started seeing movies at night by focusing candlelight on a lens and projecting the pictures on the wall. Phalke wished to go to London to get technical knowledge of filmmaking, but had difficulties getting finances for his trip. But he managed to get the funds by mortgaging his insurance policies worth rupees 12,000 and finally he went to London. Phalke's first film was Raja Harishchandra. The movie is about a righteous king who endures several tests for having distracted sage Vishwamitra from his meditation. To say the least, Phalke had various obstacles while making the first ever Indian movie. He could not find a female lead as well as other supporting female characters. Cinema back then was eyed skeptically by people. Eventually, Phalke roped in male actors for the female roles. Phalke auditioned many boys for the role of the son of King Harishchandra, but none of the parents would allow their children to work in the film as the character would have to live in forest and was to die. Finally, Phalke's elder son Bhalachandra was assigned the role. He became the first child actor in Indian cinema. Phalke hired around 40 people for his film studio known as a factory in those days. Since working in films was a taboo, Phalke advised his artists to tell others they were working in a factory for a man named Harishchandra. Phalke designed the costumes and stage scenes based on the paintings of Raja Ravi Verma and M.V. Dhurandhar. He painted the scenes for the palace, jungle, mountains, etc. himself on the curtains. Production design for the film started after the monsoon of 1912. While the sets were being erected at Phalke's bungalow in Dadar, outdoor shooting was scheduled at Wangni, a village outside Mumbai. The shoot also took place at Trimbakeshwar, which was used as a substitute for Kashi. Phalke used to develop the film at night for the scenes that were shot throughout the day. Filming was completed in 6 months and 27 days to produce a film of 3,700 feet, which was about 4 reels. As Phalke had difficulties arranging theatre for screening, he arranged a selected audience screening along with some intellectuals and prominent personalities from Bombay to watch the film. The response from them was overwhelmingly positive. The film had its theatrical release on 3rd May 1913. The film had a houseful run for a week and it was extended for 12 more days. News of the film's success in Bombay spread across India and there were demands to screen the film in various locations. He further made hit movies of that time like Mohini Bhasmasur, Satyavan Savitri, Lanka Dahan, Shri Krishna Janma, Kaliya Mardan, etc., which were all based on Hindu mythology. Falke was offered by British filmmakers to stay in London and make movies for them with cast's expenses and other productions borne by them. But Dadasaheb Phalke politely declined, saying he wanted to continue making films in India so that the business can expand there. And that, ladies and gentlemen, was a brief history of how Bollywood came into existence in its base level.